Welcome back to Tungal College online classes. Hello students, how are you all? In last class you learned nucleophilic addition reactions of aldehydes and ketones. But today's topic is reduction of aldehydes and ketones. In that the first one is Clemmensen reduction. First one, Clemmensen reduction. For PUC, this is very important question. Clemmensen reduction is very important for PUC exam. So now look into what is the Clemmensen reduction. The carbonyl group of aldehydes and ketones is reduced to CH2 group on treatment with zinc amalgam and concentrated hydrochloric acid. This reaction is known as Clemmensen reduction. Now let us understand what is the meaning of this statement by taking an example. I am taking aldehyde or ketone, general representation. This maybe can take aldehyde or ketone. Aldehyde or ketone. This aldehyde or ketone we have to treat with zinc amalgam, ZnHg, and concentrated hydrochloric acid. Then this C double bond group is called as a carbonyl group. This carbonyl group is converting into CH group. How we can represent is CH2 bond, this CH2 bond, CH2 bond, this remains same. This carbonyl group is simply changes to CH2 group. So this reaction we are calling as a Clemmensen reduction. The carbonyl group of aldehydes, ketones reduced to CH2 group on treatment with zinc amalgam and concentrated hydrochloric acid. This reaction is known as Clemmensen reduction. Now let us read the statement. The carbonyl group of aldehyde or ketone, is reduced to CH2 group, on treatment with zinc amalgam. On treatment with zinc amalgam and concentrated hydrochloric acid. This reaction is known as Clemmensen reduction. This reaction is known as Clemmensen reduction. Now let us take some general examples for the Clemmensen reduction. Then I am taking CH3 CHO. This one I am treating with zinc amalgam, ZnHg, followed by concentrated HCl. Then what the thing is, this is aldehyde. Aldehyde we can write the group as CH3 C double bond OH. CH3 C double bond OH. This is the carbonyl group. This group is reduced to what? CH2. Then what is the product we write is CH3 C double bond I am changing as CH2 and one more hydrogen is there. Together we are writing as CH3. So the product is hydrocarbon is formed. So this is the first reaction. Let us take one more example. Ketone I am taking. CH3 C double bond was CH3. Look at this is the ketone. This ketone I am treating with zinc amalgam and concentrated hydrochloric acid. Then how do you write the product? Simply change this C double bond group. This C double bond group into whom? CH2 group, isn't it? Then the product is CH3 C double bond converting into CH2 bond CH3. So this is the product formed in this reaction. Take one more example. I am taking this one, CHO. This is the reactant I took. This group I am writing as C double bond OH like this, isn't it? This one I am treating with ZnHg followed by concentrated hydrochloric acid, same reagent. Then what we have to do, this C double bond group we have to change it to CH2. Then the product is like this. This C double bond converting into CH2 and this hydrogen we am writing as CH3. This is the product formed in this reaction. I am taking one more reaction now. Double bond O CH3. So this is the reactant item. This one I am treating with the same reagent ZnHg and concentrated hydrochloric acid. So I took the same reagent here. Then what is the product we can expect in this case is then this is the C double bond group converting into CH2 group. Then the product is CH2CH3. The product is CH2CH3. Suppose if you take cyclic compound alone, I am taking a cyclohexanone, this one. This is the compound I took. This one I am treating with the same reagent, zinc amalgam. Then what is the product expected? This is nothing but what? Carbon, isn't it? This C double bond group converting into CH2 group. Then the product is simply cyclohexane. This is nothing but what? CH2 group. All these are CH2 groups. So of course here also all these are CH2 groups only. This C double bond group is converting into this CH2 group. So this reaction is a Clemmensen reduction. So what is the Clemmensen reduction? Carbonyl group of aldehydes or ketones is reduced to CH2 group on treatment with zinc amalgam and concentrated hydrochloric acid. This reaction is known as a Clemmensen reduction. This is the first reaction. Next reaction, Wolff-Kishner reduction. This is the second one. Wolff-Kishner reduction. And for PUC point of view, it is a very important question. For PUC exams, it is important question. Now let's look into what is Wolff-Kishner reduction. The carbonyl group of aldehydes or ketones is reduced to CH2 group on treatment with hydrazine followed by heating with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide in high boiling solvent such as ethylene glycol. This reaction is known as Wolff-Kishner reduction. What is the meaning of this statement? Let us understand by taking one example. I am taking the general representation of aldehyde or ketone. This is aldehyde or ketone, general representation. This aldehyde or ketone we have to treat with hydrazine. Formula is NH2 bond NH2. This is hydrazine. The carbonyl group has a double bond O. This is this oxygen and these two hydrogens. Oxygen and hydrogens, there is a loss of water molecule. These two hydrogens and this oxygen in the form of water molecule. And this nitrogen we have to join to this carbonyl carbon by through double bond. Then the product is C. This double bond remains same. This nitrogen we have to attach to double bonded carbon N. Remaining part is NH2. So this is the product from this reaction. Then this product, what is the product we got? This product we have to heat with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide in ethylene glycol. Then we can take sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, KOH, ethylene glycol followed by heating. Then what is the product we will get is this C double bond, this group C double bond is there. The final we get the product is CH2 group. This nitrogen eliminate in the form of N2. So this is the product formed in a reaction. Now what is the meaning of this equation? Let us end by taking the statement. This is the carbonyl group. The carbonyl group of aldehydes or ketones are reduced to CH2 group. The carbonyl group of aldehydes and ketones are reduced to CH2 group on treatment with hydrazine. Followed by heating with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide in high boiling solvents such as ethylene glycol. This reaction is known as Wolff-Kishner reduction. Let us write the statement regarding Wolff-Kishner reduction. The carbonyl group of aldehydes are ketones. Is reduced to CH2 group. On treatment with whom? Hydrazine. On treatment with hydrazine followed by heating with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide. Followed by heating with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide in high boiling solvents such as ethylene glycol. In high boiling solvents such as ethylene glycol. Ethylene glycol is known as Wolff-Kishner reduction. So this is the statement regarding the Wolff-Kishner reduction. Look at one more. The carbonyl group of aldehydes or ketones is reduced to CH group. On treatment with hydrazine. Followed by heating with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide in high boiling solvents such as ethylene glycol. This reaction is known as a Wolff-Kishner reduction. So this is a Wolff-Kishner reduction. Now let us look into some examples for a Wolff-Kishner reduction. I am taking an examples. I am taking a CH3CHO aldehyde I took. This aldehyde, what we have to do is first we have to treat with hydrazine. NH2 bond NH2, isn't it? NH2 bond NH2. This I am writing as a C double bond OH. This hydrogen, this oxygen eliminate in the form of removed in the form of water. Then what we have to do? This nitrogen we have to join to this carbon through double bond. Then CH3C, and it already had hydrogen. CH already has it, hydrogen is there, and double bond this nitrogen we have to join here, N bond NH2. So this is the product formed in the first step. Then what we have to do next is this one we have to heat with sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, NaOH or KOH. NaOH or KOH in ethylene glycol followed by heating. Then what is the thing is this CW, simply this CW group is converting into final product CH group. So CH3 CW can convert into CH group, CH2, and this has one hydrogen, we can write it as CH3. This group is converting into CH2, this has hydrogen, the final product is CH3. The product we are getting is hydrocarbons. Even in the Clemmensen reduction also the final product is hydrocarbons. Take one more example for better understanding. I am taking CH3 C double bond O CH3. CH3, C double bond O CH3. This is I took ketone. This one I am treating with NH2 bond NH2 hydrazine. Then followed by what I am doing is first I am removing water from it. Then what is the product we can expect is CH3. Then here is another CH3, isn't it? CH3 bond CH3. Then this hydrogen, this oxygen in the form of water, H2 and this H2O. This nitrogen we have to join to this carbon through double bond NH2, NH2, isn't it? Then what we have to do next is we have to heating with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide in ethylene glycol. In ethylene glycol followed by heat. This is a symbol for heat. Then what we have to do is I'm taking this one, this C double bond group. Finally the C double bond group is reduced to CH2 group. That means this bond we have to break, this we have to make it as a CH2. Then the product is CH3 CH2 CH3 plus the final product we are going to get here is N2. Here also the final another byproduct is N2. This is the N2 or the here is byproducts. So this is the product formed in this reaction. In this case, if we take acetaldehyde, the product is ethane hydrocarbon. If we take acetone, it is a ketone. This is aldehyde, I took is ketone. This is aldehyde. This is ketone. So if I took aldehyde, the product is hydrocarbon ethane I got. If I take acetone, ketone I took, the product is propane, CH2, CH3, CH2, CH3, the product is propane. So the final product formed in this reaction is hydrocarbon. Even Clemmensen reduction also, the products will be get hydrocarbons only. So this is Wolff-Kishner reduction. Next reaction, reduction to alcohols. This is the third one. Reduction to alcohols. Aldehydes and ketones are reduced to alcohols with reducing agents like H2 by Ni or sodium borohydride or lithium aluminum hydride. First let the statement regarding it. Aldehydes and ketones are reduced to alcohols with reducing agents like H2 by Ni, or you can take lithium aluminum hydride, or you can take sodium borohydride, etc. So we'll get by taking this H2 by Ni, lithium aluminum hydride, sodium borohydride, you can take the product is alcohols. Now let us take some general examples. I am taking aldehyde, general representation RCHO. This is aldehyde. Aldehydes are treated with reducing agents like H2 by Ni, or you can take H2 by PD also, H2 by PD, or you can take H2 by PT, H2 by Ni, PD, PT, nickel, palladium, platinum. Then otherwise you can take lithium aluminum hydride, or you can take sodium borohydride, NaBH4. If you take any reagent, this aldehydes, this CHO group converted into CH2OH, then the product is RCH2OH, and the product is primary alcohol. Very important point. The reduction of aldehydes will give primary alcohols as a main product. Main is primary alcohols. Then I am taking ketones, R C double bond O R. This I am taking as a ketone. This ketone I am treating with H2 by Ni, H2 by Ni, or you can take H2 by Pt or H2 by Pd, anything you can take. This is a Pt, I am taking as Pd. Anything you can take Pt or Pd. Then or you can take a sodium borohydride NaBH4, or you can take a lithium aluminum hydride. Anything you can take, exactly you can copy here, or you can, otherwise you can take a H2 by Pt or a H2 by Pd. Anything you can take the product what you can expect is R, this C double bond group converting into CHOH. Then CHOH, this remains R. Then what is the product we got in this reaction? This alcohols is called secondary alcohols. Secondary alcohols. An important point here is reduction of aldehydes will give primary alcohols, and reduction of ketones will give secondary alcohols with H2 by Ni or sodium borohydride or lithium aluminum hydride. So this is the reduction of aldehydes and ketones to alcohols. Now let us take some general examples for this reduction reactions. I am taking an example CH3CHO. CH3CHO, this compound, this is nothing but what? Aldehyde. This I am treating with H2 by Ni. Or you can use lithium aluminum hydride, you can use or sodium borohydride. Then what is the product we can expect is this CHO group converting into CH2OH. Then the product is CH3CH2OH. CH3CH2OH. What is this? Primary alcohol. So primary alcohol. And I am taking another compound, I am taking ketone, CH3, C double bond of CH3. This I took ketone. And the reagent remains same. What is the reagent? H2 by Ni you can use, or you can use sodium borohydride, you can use, or you can use lithium aluminum hydride. Any reagent you can use. Then the product is CH3, this group converting into CHOH, isn't it? Then the product is CHOH, this will be CH3. What is this? Secondary alcohol. Look at this carbon attached, OH attached to the carbon, that attached to only one carbon primary. OH attached carbon attached to two carbons. So this is a secondary alcohols. Take one cyclic compound. I am taking cyclic compound CHO, this one. Then this one I am treating with the same reagents. I am keeping same reagents here. This meaning is same reagent. Then what is the product we can expect in this reaction? If you take the same reagents, the product is CHO group converted into CH2OH. Then the product is CH2OH. It is a primary alcohol. Take one more reaction by taking ketones, C double bond O CH3. It is a ketone. So this side is a cyclohexane ring, is methyl group is there, both groups attached to carbonate group. Then the same reagent you can take. This meaning is H2 by Ni or lithium aluminum hydride or sodium borohydride. Again I am taking the same meaning. This meaning is H2 by Ni or lithium aluminum hydride or sodium borohydride. Then what is the product we can expect in this reaction? This ring remains the same. Then C double bond group converting into CHOH. This will be converting into CHOH. Then CHOH and remaining what we have is CH3. So look at here. We got a secondary alcohol. Here we got a primary alcohol. So reduction of aldehydes will give primary alcohols, reduction of ketones will give secondary alcohol with reducing agents like H2 by Ni, lithium aluminum hydride, sodium borohydride, etc. So this is the reduction of aldehydes and ketones into alcohols. Next, oxidation of aldehydes and ketones. So this is a third type of reaction, oxidation of aldehydes and ketones. Simply oxidation. Aldehydes and ketones differ in their oxidation reactions. Here we have two kinds of oxidizing agents. The first one is strong oxidizing agents and the second one is mild oxidizing agents. The first I am writing strong oxidizing agents. Strong oxidizing agents. The second category we have is mild oxidizing agents. This is the second category. The example for the strong oxidizing agents is we can take HNO3 nitric acid, or we can take KMNO4 potassium permanganate, or you can take K2Cr2O7 potassium dichromate, etc. So these are the strong oxidizing agents. Example for the mild oxidizing agents is Tollens reagent. Tollens reagent you can take, or you can take Pehling reagent. Pehling reagent. The Tollens reagent, Pehling reagent are example for mild oxidizing agents. Very, very important reagents, Tollens and Pehling. Now let us look into the reactions of aldehydes and ketones towards oxidation. That means oxidizing agents, strong oxidizing agents and mild oxidizing agents. I am taking aldehyde first. RCHO. This is I am labeling as aldehyde. Aldehyde upon oxidation. Aldehydes upon oxidation. Then you can take the strong oxidizing agent, even you can take a mild oxidizing agent. Any oxidizing agent you can take the strong, even mild. The product what we are going to get expected from this reaction is this aldehyde group converted into carboxylic acid group. The carboxylic acid is COOH. Carboxylic acid. But if you take strong oxidizing agents, the product is carboxylic acid. If you take mild oxidizing agents, you will take carboxylate anion. So RCOO minus, you will get RCOO minus anion if you take a mild oxidizing agents. So both strong oxidizing agents, even mild oxidizing agents oxidize the aldehydes into carboxylic acid. This is clear, this point. Then coming to the ketones. We discussed about aldehydes. Then coming to the ketones, I am taking an example RCH2 C double bond O CH2 R dash. So imagine these two alkyl groups are R and R dash both are different. So R and R dash is different. In this case, this carbonum labeling as number 1, this carbonum labeling as number 2, this carbonum labeling as number 3. If you take strong oxidizing agents, not mild oxidizing agents, the strong oxidizing agents strong oxidizing agent that at elevated temperature, high temperatures, then only reaction will be produced. But mild oxidizing agents do not convert the carboxylic acids into, do not convert the ketones into carboxylic acids. What is my point is strong oxidizing agents will give the carboxylic acids from ketones, but mild oxidizing agents do not give carboxylic acids from ketones. This is one difference. Now I am taking strong oxidizing agent and elevated temperature. How many types of cleavage? This is the bond between the C1 and C2. This bond undergo cleavage. If this bond is undergo cleavage, by cleavage of C1 and C2 bond, then what is the type of product we are going to get expected here is what is the type of product? R, this CH will become COOH. R COOH plus R dash CH2, this group converting into COOH. So where the bond is breaking, the these two carbons converting into carboxylic acids. This is converting into carboxylic acid, this also converting into carboxylic acid group. Then plus I am writing this one R dash CH2, this will become a COOH. So this is the one product formed in this reaction. This is what by cleavage of C1 C2 bond, by cleavage of C1 C2 bond. Suppose the bond is cleavage takes place between C2 and C3 and C2. C2, this bond is undergo cleavage. If this bond is undergo cleavage, in such case, what is the possibility of product? RCH2 COOH. RCH2, RCH2. This C double bond converting into COOH. COOH plus this R dash CH2 converting into COOH plus the product is R dash COOH. Now look at this. This is by cleavage of which bond? Cleavage of C2 C3 bond. C2 C3 bond. So the product formation is depends upon the where the cleavage taking place in a molecule. In the case of ketones, ultimately the final product is a carboxylic acid only. If you take ketones upon oxidation with strong oxidizing agents with high elevated temperature, the product is a carboxylic acid. Even you can take aldehyde upon oxidation with strong or even mild oxidizing agents, so the product is carboxylic acid. So what is the conclusion we will get is oxidation of aldehydes and ketones will give carboxylic acids as a product. In the case of mild oxidizing agent, we will get carboxylate anion. Now this is oxidation of aldehydes and ketones. Now based on the mild oxidizing agents, Tollens reagent and Pehling reagent, we are able to distinguish aldehydes from ketones. Now we will discuss Tollens reagent and Pehling reagent. Next, Tollens test. Tollens test. Tollens test is used to distinguish aldehydes and ketones. In addition to this, the Tollens test is used to identify aldehydes. To distinguish the aldehydes and ketones, we will use Tollens test, and we will use identification of aldehydes Tollens test. Then what is the Tollens reagent? Tollens reagent. Freshly prepared ammonical silver nitrate solution is called Tollens reagent. Freshly prepared ammonical silver nitrate solution. Ammonical silver nitrate. So ammonical silver nitrate is a Tollens reagent. So how to prepare it? While performing this Tollens test, so we have to prepare a Tollens reagent. Freshly we have to prepare Tollens reagent. Then how to prepare a Tollens reagent? So first we have to take a silver nitrate, AgNO3. This AgNO3 we have to treat with ammonium hydroxide. Then what is the product we will expect here is Ag2O plus NH4NO3. NH4NO3 plus water. So this is Ag2O is good form. What is the Ag2O formed in this reaction? Further react with one more molecule of NH4OH. It further react with ammonium hydroxide. Then the product is Ag NH3 taken 2 times OH plus water. This AgNO3, AgNH3 taken as OH, this reagent is called as a Tollens reagent. This is called as a Tollens reagent. Then what we have to do next is this Tollens reagent we have taken a test tube. To that we have to add aldehyde. So on warming there is a silver mirror formed on the walls of the test tube. Based on this we are able to identify aldehydes. What is my point is first we have to take a test tube. We have to take a test tube. In the test tube we have to take both Tollens reagent. I am taking both Tollens reagent and I am adding to it aldehyde. I am taking Tollens reagent aldehyde in a test tube. And next what I am doing is I am placing this test tube in a water bath. I am placing this in a water bath. Simply on warming. On warming, there is a formation of a silver mirror. There is a formation of a silver mirror, bright silver mirror on the walls of the test tube. there is a formation of a bright silver mirror on the walls of the test tube. Based on this point, we are able to identify aldehydes. So what is my point is, on warming aldehydes with Tollens reagent, there is a formation of a silver mirror on the walls of the test tube. Aldehydes will form silver mirror on the walls of the test tube. So based on this point, we are able to identify aldehydes. Then what are the product formed on in the silver in a Tollens test? We are taking aldehyde RCH4. This is aldehyde. Aldehyde we are treating with what? Tollens reagent. What is the formula? AgNH3 taken twice. I'm taking positive charge. This I'm dissociating. AgNH3 taken twice plus OH minus. So I'm taking it is OH minus. This I'm labeling as 3 OH minus. This I'm labeling as 2 molecules. Then what is the product we'll expect here is aldehyde or CHO. This CHO group is oxidized to RCOO minus. RCOO minus. The product is carboxylate anion. Carboxylate anion is formed. Carboxylate anion. Then there is a formation of Ag, 2Ag. We are getting silver mirror. This silver mirror nothing but formation of 2Ag. This is silver mirror on the walls of the test tube. And in addition to this, we have ammonia. They will get 4NH3, 2H2O plus 4NH3. This is the product formed in this reaction. Now here is a silver mirror is formed. One more product we are getting is a carboxylate anion. So mild oxidizing agent like a Tollens reagent converts carboxylic acids into carboxylate anion. This is a Tollens test. Another important point is aldehydes, both aliphatic and aromatic aldehydes will give this test. Aliphatic and aromatic aldehyde will give this test, and aliphatic and aromatic ketones do not give this test. This is very important point. Aliphatic and aromatic. Aliphatic and aromatic aldehydes gives Tollens test. Tollens test. And another important point is aliphatic and aromatic ketones. Aliphatic and aromatic ketones do not give Tollens test. So look at this. This is a very key point. So aldehydes, all aldehydes, aliphatic as well as aromatic aldehyde will give Tollens test, and ketones, aliphatic and aromatic, any ketones won't give that Tollens test. So based on this point, we are able to identify or we are able to distinguish aldehydes from ketones. And this test is to identification of aldehydes also. This is a Tollens test. Next, Fehling test. Fehling test. The Fehling test also you use to distinguish aldehydes and ketones. To distinguish aldehydes and ketones, we will use the Fehling test. Next, what is the Fehling reagent? Fehling reagent. Fehling reagent comprises of two solutions. Fehling reagent comprises of two solutions, and Fehling reagent contains two solutions. The first one is Fehling solution A and Fehling solution B. The first one is Fehling solution A. Fehling solution A, and the second one is Fehling solution B. Fehling solution B. Fehling solution A and Fehling solution B. Then Fehling solution A is nothing but aqueous copper sulfate, aqueous CuSO4. Aqueous copper sulfate is called as failing solution A, and failing solution B is alkaline sodium potassium tartrate. Alkaline sodium potassium tartrate. Sodium potassium tartrate, nothing but Rochelle salt. Nothing but we have to call as Rochelle salt. So this is a failing solution B and this is a failing solution A. Then while doing the test, we have to take equal elements of failing solution A and failing solution B in a test. Simply we are calling it together as a failing reagent. The mixture of failing solution A and the failing solution B equal amounts we have taken a test table. That reagent we are calling as a failing reagent. So failing reagent we have to add it to the aldehyde. We have to add it to the aldehydes. Upon warming of this mixture, we will get red brown precipitate. So indicates the presence of aldehydes in a compound. Both aldehydes will give this test. Ketones do not respond to this test. How do you perform this test completely? So first we have to take a test tube. In the test tube we have to take a failing reagent and aldehyde. Failing reagent and we have to take this aldehyde together. Then we have to heat it on warming or speed. Upon heating, there is a red brown color formation in the test tube. So if the red brown PPT formed in a test tube, that indicates that the presence of aldehyde in a given compound. Then what is the reaction? How to write the reaction is I'm taking aldehyde RCHO. This one we have to treat with who? RCH we have to treat with failing reagent. Failing reagent composed of water, copper sulfate and alkaline sodium potassium tartrate. I'm taking is Cu+2. This is mathematical. It comes from copper sulfate. Then this is 5 OH minus. In alkaline we are taking. This is failing reagent is composed of two solutions. So alkaline sodium potassium tartrate. So we get from this 5 OH minus. Then the product is RCOO minus. This is nothing but carboxylate anion. In addition, this we are getting it Cu2O plus another product is H2O. This one making as 2Cu+2. This one making as 2C2O. This is 3H2O. So this is the product from this reaction. This is what? Aldehyde. This is from what? Failing reagent. Then what we got? Carboxylate anion. Here the product is carboxylate anion. So this is a reddish brown PPT. So reddish brown PPT formed in this reaction. A reddish brown color formed in the reaction. So based on this test, we are able to identify aldehydes. An important point here. Aldehydes, aliphatic aldehydes will give failing test, but aromatic aldehyde do not give failing test. Write the point. Aliphatic aldehydes give failing test. Aliphatic aldehyde give failing test, but aromatic aldehyde do not give failing test. Another important point is aliphatic and aromatic. Aliphatic and aromatic ketones. Aliphatic and aromatic ketones do not give failing test. Aliphatic and aromatic ketones do not give failing test. So based on this point, Aliphatic aldehyde will give this test, but aromatic aldehyde is not give this test. Aromatic aldehydes and ketones, aliphatic as well as aromatic ketones do not give this test. So this is a Pageling test. By using Tollens test and Pageling test, we distinguish aldehydes from ketones. So the conclusion is aldehydes will give Tollens test and Pageling test, and aromatic aldehyde do not give Pageling test. All ketones, aliphatic ketones, aromatic ketones do not give Tollens test as well as a Pageling test. Next, haloform reaction. Haloform reaction. Aldehydes and ketones having at least one methyl group linked to carbonyl carbon atom are oxidized by sodium hypohalite to corresponding sodium salt of carboxylic acids, and the methyl group converted into haloform. This reaction is called as a haloform reaction. So what is the meaning of this statement? Let us understand by taking an example. I am taking R C double bond O CH3. So this is the carbonyl carbon. To this carbonyl carbon, one methyl group is attached. So this compound we have to treat with NaOX. So I am writing here as plus NaOX. Plus NaOX. This X is equal to chlorine, bromine, iodine. That X is equal to chlorine, bromine, iodine. Then what is the product can expect is this C double bond group converting into RCOONA. RCOONA. So this is the sodium salt of carboxylic acid. Plus this methyl group is converting into haloform, CHX3. This may be CHCl if you take chlorine, CHCl3, if you take bromine, CHBr3, if you take iodine, CHI3. So this is nothing but we have to call as a haloform. So haloform is formed in a reaction. So this is haloform reaction. So let us write the statement. What is the aldehydes and ketones having at least one methyl group linked to carbonyl carbon are oxidized by sodium hypohalite to corresponding sodium salt of carboxylic acids, and methyl group converted to haloform. Write the same sentence. Aldehydes and ketones having at least one methyl group linked to carbonyl carbon atom, are oxidized by sodium hypohalite NaOX, are oxidized by NaOX to corresponding sodium salts of carboxylic acids. And methyl group converted to haloform, and methyl group converted to haloform. So this is the reaction. So we'll take one more example for a better understanding. I'm taking CH3 CH bond CH CH3 bond C double bond O CH3. So this is the example I took. Then this one we have to treat with NaOCl. I'm treating with NaOCl. Then what is the product we can expect in this reaction? Then this part converted into haloform, this part converting into sodium salt of carboxylic acid. Then the product is CH3 CH double bond CH3. This C double bond converting into COONA plus this methyl group converting into haloform. Which one here is? We took chlorine. Then the product is CHCl3. So this is a chloroform formed in a reaction. This is a haloform reaction. So next class I will continue the another topic.